Welcome to Hot Takes and Beer Breaks.
We were over intoxicated and underinformed.
We're just three dudes talking news and drinking booze.
I'm John.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Justin.
Okay, so in light of Steve's bathroom story, I have a bathroom story to tell this week, right? If you haven't heard, listen to Steve's story last week.
Okay. Oh, it's Jeeves, by the way.
Jeeves?
Yes.
Okay.
Canonically, it's established.
Canonically, this is episode 4, correct?
Yeah, this is episode 4.
Bender is still in space.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bender is still in space. He's gonna be a few more weeks. He's still out there. His rocket ship ran into some trouble.
He's out of gas.
Didn't he run into William Shatner along the way?
Isn't William Shatner going to space?
Well, he didn't go with him. He was
They're going to the same
on the
place.
wing.
He's on the wing. Oh, okay. All right. So Jason will be back. We'll probably start season 2 when Jason comes back, and then we'll do our new intro and outro since you're going to be full time, Steve.
Oh boy!
Because we got to because instead of 3 dudes drinking booze,
It's 4 dudes.
4 dudes
Talking
talking
about
booze.
Okay. So I learned at a pretty early age that if I got to do something, I got to do it on my own, right?
Okay.
So as we all know, my mom's from Boston.
Wicked good.
Wicked good. And as we all know, Boston people are the worst.
They're crazy.
Right? Okay. So
Are you
my
implying
mom...
that your mom is the worst?
Oh,
I'm just-
shit. Hot take, John.
Okay, so my mom loves her family from Boston. But being in Connecticut, she doesn't get to see
What a shitty person.
she doesn't get to see him very often. I'm just going to ignore you. She doesn't get to see him very often, right? And in between... So, like, one day when I'm, like, 8 years old, they make a plan to visit Halfway, which is, like, Mystic Aquarium. It's in between, right? They come down from Boston, go to Mystic. We go up,
I don't think that's how maps work.
It's, like, halfway. Because it's, like, an hour for them, an hour for us.
Isn't Mystic like bottom right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, like, an
I mean,
hour.
why not go, like, in the middle and meet, like, I don't know, like, Hartford or something, up that way?
No, because Boston, you go up 95 through Rhode Island. It's the same thing.
I don't know directions.
You're ruining the story. Don't worry.
Oh, you're
about it.
welcome.
It's halfway. Trust me.
All right.
If
Okay.
he says it's halfway, it's halfway.
It's halfway.
It's halfway there.
It's like half. It's like in between enough where
It's like halfway.
Yeah.
It's like halfway to halfway.
Quarter to half? Half
Yeah.
past away?
So we go to Mystic Aquarium, right? And my mom's pretty excited. I can tell on her face, like she's super excited to talk to her family. We're having a good day. We go to the cafeteria, eat some food.
Look at the fucking shock.
Yeah. I remember distinctly from the cafeteria, there's a long stretchway, and then there's the penguin exhibit, right? Down here on the right. And we go down to the penguin exhibit, and just as we get to the penguin exhibit, my mom starts talking to her cousin. My stomach starts rumbling. I start hearing noises, and I'm like, oh no. And I know where the bathroom is. The bathroom's back at the cafeteria, so I got to go back that long stretchway.
Yep.
I go over to my mom, who's deep in conversation. I go, Mom, I got to go to the bathroom. And she looks at me, and she goes, sorry, that was me, in a minute. And I'm like...
Oh, because you're too young to go on your own. You have to be escorted.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
How old are you at this point?
I'm like 8.
You're basically an adult in medieval
Let's put it this
times.
way. I had Spider-Man underwear on. That's how young I am.
That could be yesterday.
It was yesterday.
I knew it.
So I'm like 8, 9, 10, like in that age range, you know.
I mean, there's a big difference between 8 and 10 and going to the bathroom on your own.
I was like 8. I was a young kid. I was a young kid. But I'm young and I'm like aware enough to know what's going on around me, right?
Yeah.
So I look at my mom, and she's deep in conversation. She's like, can you give me a few minutes? Like, she's super excited to be talking to her cousin. I know how important this is to her. So I'm like, all right.
Oh,
I'll pinch it.
I got it. I walk over. I look at the penguins. I see how the penguins are moving, you know.
Yeah.
So I lock my knees up. I do the penguin waddle.
As you should.
I lock up
I'm
one
proud
of my
of
other
you.
cousins.
Don't squat.
He comes over to talk to me, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm watching the penguin. You know what I mean? I'm deep in conversation, but I'm focused. You know?
Fuck off. There's birds here.
I'm going through my breathing exercises. And a few minutes kind of pass, and I'm like, okay, I got to get there soon, right? Like, I know it's coming. I got to get there.
It's a good feeling when you have to go really bad, and then you know, like, okay, I just have a few minutes free now. Like, I don't have to go as bad as I had to, like, 5 minminutes ago. But it's going to come back, and it's going to come back worse.
Yeah. So I walk over to my
Why
mom.
didn't you speak in the code to make it make it an impactful thing? Be like, hey, Mom.
I was an 8-year-old.
The British are coming.
I'll tell the story. So I walk over to my mom. Second time, I'm like, Mom, I got to go to the bathroom. She's like, in a minute, all right?
Oh, no.
I'm like, all right.
Mhm.
All right, second time, fine. Walk back over, penguin walking, knees clenched, butt cheeks tight, everything, the whole deal, right? Second story. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, I got to go. Give it one more minute. I walk back over for a third time. And I go, Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom. And she's like, can you just give me a minute? And I'm like, well, fuck this, all right? Like, I know.
Did 10-year-old you say to your mother,
Yes.
well, fuck this?
I would have
No,
done it.
I go in my head. I'm like, you know what? I don't need you. I know where the bathroom is. It's down there. I don't care. Like, I asked you 3 times. I got to go to the bathroom. I know I got to go to the bathroom. You know I got to go to the bathroom.
The penguins know I gotta go to the bathroom. Everybody in this aquarium knows
So,
I gotta shit my
penguins are
pants.
like,
I
what's
just
wrong with
start
that kid?
walking. I
Yeah.
penguin walk there. I start getting a little bit of stride in me. I'm, I got the straight
Picking
arm.
up some momentum.
I'm
Did
going.
you do that thing from Forrest Gump where he's in his braces and then he breaks off and then he's in a full sprint?
Yeah, you got the
towards...
knees locked.
Oh,
and I'm kind of going.
And then
I'm
you broke and just sprinted because all hell was breaking loose.
Nah, I'm swinging, and I'm like, whew, whew, tighten up, right? All of a sudden, I'm halfway there. All of a sudden, I hear in the distance, Jonathan! And I know it's my mom screaming for me, right? And I'm like, I told you where I'm going, so I'm just going. I don't even look back, and I'm just going. I'm getting a little closer. All of a sudden, I hear a little bit coming up closer to me. Jonathan!
Oh, she's chasing you.
She's chasing me
She's got
down.
a shit too.
She's chasing me dead. And I'm like, well, you had your chance, lady. All right. I know where I'm going. I'm going. And I'm just penguin walking the whole way. I'm about to hit the cafeteria. She catches up to me right away. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what?
What do you think I'm doing?
She's like, why'd you walk away from me? I'm like, I told you I had to go to the bathroom. I gotta go. She's like, don't you ever walk away from me ever
Oh,
again. She
no.
like grabs me like, come on, let's go to the bathroom.
No!
She's like, come on, let's go to the bathroom.
Okay. I thought she was gonna say, let's go to the penguin exhibit.
No, I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm going. I know where I was going. All right, glad you caught up. We get to the bathroom, right? And my mom's like, come on, let's go. We get to the bathroom, and I go in. She's like, I'll be out here. And I'm like, I'll be in here. And she walks out. Now, I imagine my mom, being from Boston, is just outside tapping her foot, like swearing, that son of a bitch. I can't believe he walked away from me.
Yeah.
Wait,
You know-
she wouldn't call you a son of a bitch.
You know what I mean.
That would be calling herself a bitch.
But you know what I mean. Like, she's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
out there. She's furious. She's like, I can't believe this kid walked away from me.
You are such...
It's such a disrespectful
Well,
little
is that
kid.
the end of the story?
No.
What? There's more?
I think
There's a
gotta
whole
be
thing,
more.
right? I got a second version. Don't worry. It's
Alright.
it's a long-winded story.
I'm in.
She's standing outside the bathroom, right? We
Mhm.
made it. But it's 10 minutes go by, and she's just like, what is going on? So all of a sudden I just hear opens the door, and my mom goes, Jonathan. And I go, yeah. She goes, Are you okay? And I go, yeah. And she goes, okay, I'll be out here. I'm like, I'll be in here. And then
You
like,
should have hit her with it. Just give me 1 minute.
Oh, that would have
been
good.
a good. I was dealing with some things. All right. So 10 more minutes go by. My mom's just standing outside waiting for me, and she's like, where is this kid? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. I imagine she thought I had to go pee. I didn't. So 10 more minutes go by. She walks back over. She knocks on the door, opens the door, and goes, Jonathan. And I go, yeah. And she's like, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And she's like, do you need anything? I'm like, no, I'm okay. Just, I'm in here. And she's like, okay. And she walks back out. 10 more minutes go by. It's been like 30 minutes of me just in the bathroom. And she's like, what is going on? She's about to walk in a third time. And all of a sudden, a dad and their son walk past my mom, open the door, and I'm about to turn that corner into the bathroom. Like, they open the door to the bathroom, and you know how you got to turn the corner to go in?
Yeah.
Before the door closes, my mom just hears, oh my God! And they run out of the bathroom, and they go, we got to go to a different bathroom.
Oh,
Did you blow
no.
it up that much?
Oh, yeah. So I walk out a few minutes later, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, what happened in there?
Did you have any idea that guy and his son ran out of
I
the
heard
bathroom?
it. I heard it.
Oh, God.
Just before I was about to get flush the toilet and get out, I heard them come in and then leave.
Oh, they ruined it.
So
Did you
Mom-
eat at the Mystic?
huh?
Did you eat at the
Yeah,
aquarium?
I ate at the aquarium. Like, that's how I knew
What
where
was
the
wrong with
bathroom
their
was.
chicken nuggets?
I don't know. But my mom looks at me and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Mom. I lost my Spider-Man underwear. There was
you shit is fast.
luckily it wasn't like in my pants or anything. Like, it was just, I think it was because like I clenched my butt cheeks, and you know how you're like grinding up like that. You know, so it was a
Yeah.
little bit. So I just threw them in the garbage can,
Mm.
and I feel really bad for the employee that had to clean that bathroom. But that is how I destroyed the bathroom on Mystic Aquarium. But there's a twist to this story.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the way my mom tells the story.
Oh no.
This little prick interrupted my conversation.
Hold on. Most important question: were you able to go to a gift shop and buy like shark underwear?
No, I think we just headed out.
Oh,
I think we just headed out. No, because it was good. Like my shorts were fine. Like it wasn't like I like shit my pants. It was just kind of like my underwear.
You
was
shit your underwear. You didn't shit your pants.
I was a little 8-year-old kid, and Anyway, this is an embarrassing story. Anyway, the way my mom tells the story, right? Everything's the same. We eat. We're going down to the penguin exhibit. Except before we get to the penguin exhibit, I look at my mom and I go, "Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom." And she looks down at me and goes, "Of course, my sweet dearest. Let's go to the bathroom." We turn around right away, right? But there's a gigantic woman blocking the way. And I'm like, what is this, Pokemon? What, Snorlax was blocking the road?
Yeah, this is like George Lucas editing the friggin' original trilogy and just like adding unnecessary things.
She was like, yeah, there's a giant woman. I'm like, what, you need the Poke Flute to get past? And we couldn't make it? She's like, well, you scurried past and ran off, and I couldn't get past. I'm like, what world are we living in?
I had to take out her knees so she'd fall and roll away, and then I could chase after you. That's why I was so nervous, because I thought she fell on you, John. I just love you, Jonathan.
I remember distinctly that her story is bullshit, because I remember getting to the penguin exhibit. As mentioned, I used the penguin walk back to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to tell me we didn't even get to the penguin exhibit. We just turned around.
No, you learned the walk from them. Like,
yeah.
How else would you have been able to do that?
And that's the story my mom tells, is that there was just a gigantic woman that blocked her path, and we couldn't make it to the bathroom because of that. And I'm like, that doesn't seem likely. But yeah.
Maybe you just remember wrong, John.
Yeah, of course. I remember this distinctly impressionable moment in my life wrong.
That story just shows how much of a firstborn you are.
Really?
Because they were just like, then my parents were like, go to the bathroom.
Just leave?
Yeah.
We have a squad of other children to tend to. Just go and come back.
I think, I think my brother was there. I don't know. But that's my bathroom story. You know, to make you feel better, Steve?
Thank you.
No problem.
Maybe we'll hit the trifecta next week. I'll give my good bathroom story.
I feel like everyone's got a
shitty story. It's
Justin,
great.
you had to tell your story next week.
Maybe. Tune in.
I'll throw
Hold on. Random question. Did your moms ever bring you into the women's bathroom because they thought it was cleaner? Like, say if you went to a rest stop, like you're driving across the country.
I feel like that happened.
Like my mom, I definitely remember my mom doing that on multiple occasions.
I don't remember.
And the women's bathroom was dirtier, I thought.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember explicitly that's the reason, but I'm sure my mom was the one taking me to the bathroom. Rather.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it probably happened. I'm sure. But Justin, this is yours, right? If someone,
goddamn right it is.
If someone buys you something and it wins
so
a prize.
Basically, if I was thinking like you ever get like gifted, like I know like a lot of my grandparents will give like little like scratch offs or something as a gift, or like you'll give somebody a gift of like here's a ticket to win something, like here you could win a Mustang. If somebody gifts you something, it might be, you might feel a little different based on if you were the givee or the giver.
Okay.
If you give somebody if somebody is gifted a thing that has a potential to win something and it wins, is there any obligation of the winner to give to the givee?
I think it depends on the value.
Giver.
So let's say hypothetically they spend $5 on a scratch off and give it to you, right?
Yeah.
And you win $100. You got to give them at least the $5 back.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say that.
No, I think if it's under like $250, keep it all for yourself. But once it goes over that, I feel like you do have a moral obligation to give back something.
I would not give anything over for $500 once you take out taxes and all that, right? Or is it not taxed until a certain?
I don't think
I
it's
don't know
taxed
lottery.
until you hit $2,000. But I just made that up in my head.
I think
it
it's
sounds
like
legit.
In their mind, they just lost $5. Like
No.
if it was a gift though.
Yeah, it's a gift. Like technically, if I buy a birthday cake for you, I just lost $17 buying that cake. Well, I'm fine with it.
Think of it like this. Now, I give you, say you're a kid, and I'm like my nephew or something. I'm like, hey, here's a I don't know, hockey stick, and they become a professional hockey player. Am I expected to get money because I started that?
Yeah, I just thought.
No.
No.
I'm on the
Like,
I'm on the side of if you gift somebody something, even if it has the potential to make a lot of money, there's no guarantee that you should get anything.
I think it could be a nice, like, if you, let's say you win $1 million.
You don't have to. I
I
get what
I
Justin's
personally
saying.
would like give some kickback. but like it shouldn't be expected.
I think it
Yeah,
depends
like
on the...
whoever bought Steven Spielberg his first camera, like
Yeah, like are they expected to be like, well, why am I not getting a shout out in every movie?
See, I'm like picturing like lotto tickets. Like if you're giving somebody like a camera and they become no, of course, like you probably just get written in the acceptance speech. But I'm saying like if you give them lotto tickets, depending on the value, like if you spend $25 on lotto tickets and you win $100, no, you don't get shit. But like if you spend $25, you win $5,000, you at least get the 20. Like I think it depends.
I still wouldn't even give it. I would feel more as the giver. I would feel more insulted getting only the money back that I paid for the gift, basically implying like your gift wasn't good enough.
I'd take him out to dinner, maybe get him like
It
Domino's.
It has to be more than the gift if you're going to give a gift.
Okay.
Why would you just reimburse for that?
I'm saying at least. Like it has to.
I would be insulted if somebody won like $10,000 and gave me back $20. Like,
I wouldn't
keep
give
the
back
$20.
20. I would take him out to maybe Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, buy him something.
Cheesecake Factory.
Buy him something at that rate. But
A
at
step
the same
above
time,
Domino's.
Can we talk about how he thinks Cheesecake Factory is like?
You only said like $5,000 to $10,000. Like it's not like you're big balling. Like
So-
you get a down payment on a car. You can't go out to what's an expensive restaurant?
I don't know. That's
God,
why I
we're
said
poor.
Cheesecake Factory.
It's not like
I don't eat expensive.
It's not like you could pick your own lobster at Red Lobster.
So what if? So when Shrek came out on VHS,
Go on.
there was a contest in there to win whatever Nissan car was out that year. 2001 Nissan Ogre. I don't know what the hell you call it.
Nissan Ogre.
The Nissan.
The layers of the engine make it go faster.
And so there's actually a TikTok account where somebody bought like 200 copies of Shrek on VHS, and they unbox them every different TikTok, and they like they see what their prize is, and it's never the Nissan. It's always like a gift card to Baskin Robbins. And I'm thinking, what if you bought somebody like, I don't know, like a cereal box or something, and they ended up winning some like extraordinary gift out of it?
I want the car door.
I would
Give me
want
the
that
car
too.
door back. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I just want.
I mean,
Do you have any obligation to reimburse them?
as the it's up to you if you want to, but I think there should be no expectation that you have to.
Okay.
I don't think you have any expectation. You gave them a gift, they won. You know what I mean? But like, it is nice if you did something for them, depending on how much you win.
We'll put it this way: like I've done more for people I don't know than buying a lottery ticket for $2 and giving it to somebody.
Why do I feel like this is passive aggressive? Are you coming at somebody? Did you get somebody a gift and they won big and you want to talk to them about it?
No, it was in an episode of Kim's Convenience.
Okay.
Somebody, it was they got a coffee and then it came off. It's like, oh, you want a barbecue thing?
Okay. So
and it's like, oh, are you obligated to like split that? Because the guy won a dozen donuts and he's like, oh, I'll split it with you. And then she won a barbecue.
I'm just
and she's like, yeah, cool.
I'm just thinking of all these hypotheticals. Like, you know how people like to pay for people's Dunkin' orders behind them in the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Imagine if somebody did that and then somebody took the survey on the receipt and they won like $25,000 or something.
Yeah, imagine.
Oh man, I would just keep it at that point.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't let them know.
But like, I don't think you're obligated. It shows character, like, but you shouldn't expect something because you're not doing much. It's not like you're going out of your way helping this person. It's like, no, they got lucky off of the $2 thing you bought. Like,
Yeah.
just because they
It's
got
all
lucky
luck.
doesn't mean
It's not like you taught Steven Spielberg how to shoot a movie. You just gave him the camera.
exactly.
I think it's different in each circumstance. You know what I mean? So it's a variable. But, you know, let us know what you think. Let the listeners email in. Tell us if they got something. Hit us on the social media.
That was a good question, Justin.
Yes.
That was a good question.
Kim's Convenience.
You also have another question here.
Yes.
Sports. What's the most clutch play in sports history, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't more. It was, we can brainstorm after, but like, I consider a clutch play and a game winner different.
So you're saying something where that person locked down and they were incredibly clutch, like
basically like the caliber of a game-winning moment, but like earlier in the
Doesn't
game.
necessarily have to win the game.
Yeah, like it was earlier, but it caused it to like it set the groundwork to win the game.
I got one for you, and I'd be interested to hear what you say.
It's probably an Aaron Rodgers thing.
It is.
I know it.
So there was a play in the fourth quarter against the Dallas Cowboys in that playoff game.
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people remember the Jared Cook sideline pass.
How could you forget?
Steve might not know, but
Steve
Justin
knows exactly.
But Justin, I feel like even you know this pass where he rolls out to the left and he throws down the sideline and the guy catches him on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
Justin's shaking his head aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
I almost doubt him.
It's one of the most iconic. I'm not trying to say this.
It's the most iconic football. Sports moment in history of the world and the world anywhere.
Number one, Martin Lawrence. Number two, this guy.
Yes.
Martin Lawrence. Well, no, he's not even a football. Never mind.
Wait, Martin Lawrence, the guy from like Bad Boys and shit.
I'm thinking of another Lawrence Taylor.
I don't even know who that is. Is that the
Lawrence
long-haired
Taylor
dude?
is the first off, hold on, let's bring it back. First off, Martin Lawrence is the guy from Bad Boys. Lawrence Taylor is the Giants linebacker who made it possible for left tackles to be the second highest paid position because he actually destroyed a guy. He hit Joe Theismann, I believe, and like broke his leg.
Beautiful.
He broke his thighs.
He was like one of the greatest defensive player, maybe the greatest defensive player in NFL history. He was also probably. We'll talk about it later. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to this clutch play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the most iconic throws in sports history. It is really incredible if you ever go back and watch it. It's a great sports highlight.
Yeah.
But before that, the Cowboys defender gets free. The play before, a Cowboys defender on his left side gets free.
Mm-hmm.
And in his blind side, Aaron Rodgers gets smacked. Like really hard, right? Right in the back. And it's one of the most clutch plays because Aaron Rodgers does not fumble. Like, you have every single excuse. The ball's hanging out like this, like very loose, right? Mm-hmm. That's the play where everyone fumbles. Aaron Rodgers holds onto the ball, gets up, calls timeout right away, right?
Yeah.
And now knows he has to go to the sideline. But it saved the game, and it was one of the most clutch plays that I think in the way that you're trying to talk about. That's
the idea I'm trying to think of. Not the thing that ended the game. Like a game-winning shot is not important. I'm thinking like the LeBron,
the moment that everyone remembers when they drive home.
Not even that necessarily. It's the forgotten moments. That's why I consider it like the little brother of game winners.
That's why I picked that one because it's not a lot of people talk about it because it's just you're getting hit and you're not fumbling the ball, but it is one of those.
It's like a low-key, very important thing.
Yes.
It's like when LeBron like blocked the ball. Yeah, it wasn't the game winner.
That one was pretty iconic though.
Well, yeah, it's iconic, but that's like the high end of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Do you got another one on mind?
I'm assuming something with the 2004 playoffs with the Red Sox. Like there was probably a play that started a rally that really like was so
motivated the players and got
that's
them in the zone.
That's when they came back.
That's so weird because I was thinking of the same thing. I wonder if like there was an audience interaction that like just happened to spark a fire in the ass of one of the players.
So have you guys ever seen the 30 for 30 about the Chicago Cubs when they were about to win the World Series and they didn't?
No.
There was a play. Well, there's a series of plays, but one is the most iconic. It doesn't really fit into what your criteria is talking about.
Yeah.
But there's a play where a player hits a foul ball, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going into the stands, and the Chicago fans reach up to grab the foul ball.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not a clutch play. It's a clutch play by the guys in the...
But I'm saying that's like an iconic sports play where it kind of feels like it changed the momentum of that sport. And then even though they had the...
I would consider that like a blunder.
Okay.
Like a super...
In wrestling, they call it a botch.
Yeah, basically a botch. I'm thinking like back in the 80s with the Red Sox and Buckner.
I have another Aaron Rodgers one if you want to hear it.
No, nobody wants to hear it.
Damn it. Okay, that's fair. Do you have any other on your mind?
Nothing specific, but please email in. What's your favorite clutch, not game-winning plays, but like plays that changed the tide?
Yeah.
Like there was a clear momentum at one point, and then boom, this play happened and caused it to
That's fair.
go into their favor.
Yeah, mine was when Martin Lawrence broke that guy's leg.
Yeah, when Martin Lawrence, the
Lawrence Taylor.
Yep.
LT. Oh my
ML.
God.
MLA format.
We really do need Jason back to talk about sports stuff because we have a sports story later.
So I learned something. Well, no, I figured it out. A toaster.
Yes.
What does it do?
Toasts.
Gets bread really hot or bagels, whatever you decide to throw in it.
Exactly.
Bagels
and
are
how do
technically
most the iconic toasters? How do they work? You take the button, you slide it down, and then what happens at the end of it?
Springs back up.
Springs back up. So, in the fighting world, I'm a big fighter. I fight the things. I do the fisticuffs. I get a little bop action with the boys. Hey!
Okay.
There's a move called an uppercut.
Yes.
And what is an uppercut?
So you're saying it's a spring action of the
Hold on.
toaster.
An uppercut is a move where you kind of, to get the most power out of it, you kind of like dip down a little bit, and then you punch upwards into basically hitting their jaw and then hitting them upwards.
Yeah.
So, if we take that,
You're saying an uppercut is just a toaster.
no, in the game Mortal Kombat, there is a special event that happens when you happen to spam one move in particular.
And that leads to an uppercut, and the guy comes out of the corner of the screen. I think I know where you're going
Yep.
with this.
So if you rapid fire uppercuts, there's a little guy that pops up in the corner and goes, "Toasty!" He says "Toasty." I want to know if the toaster action of down, up, and then punch is there any correlation with that?
Sure.
Ed Boone, email in. No.
Noob Tobias?
Yeah, whatever Boone Cybot is, backwards.
What were their names? It's Ed Boone and something Tobias.
Tag whoever made Mortal Kombat. I need to know if this is true or not.
I feel like we could just Google this, but I want to hear it from their
Also,
mouth.
a former guest and listener of the pod, Alex, had no idea that they said toasty, and I broke his brain for like 28 minutes.
I thought he said whoopsies for the longest time.
That's what he said.
What?
No, yeah, it's toasty.
Yeah, up until I started hanging out with you, I learned that it was toasty.
Yeah. You mean like currently in the past 4 minutes?
No. Like, I think 2011 when Mortal Kombat 9 came out.
Oh, that was best Mortal Kombat.
I love that
I mean,
one.
besides Mortal Kombat Armageddon, where you're able to make custom characters, and I made a guy who was a cross between Rambo and Rocky. I called him Rambo-y.
Like how in the sports conversation, I was just like rambling about Aaron Rodgers highlights that are running through my mind right now. This is just where you guys are going off.
Hot take, Armageddon kind of sucks.
It does.
It hasn't aged well. The movesets are all kind of similar. The character roster's awesome, but I mean the movesets, there's nothing really distinct about.
Oh,
any
yeah.
one
I will
character.
say that 9 is probably the best.
9 was. I remember. I think that's when we started hanging out. Was when you got that game. I found out that you had it, or Cody had it, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to play it.
So good. I was unstoppable with Scorpion.
Cool.
I just knew all the moves.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like when Aaron Rodgers lost that game. And
Martin
didn't-
Lawrence killed a man.
We'll talk about it. So, I think Justin and I came to a realization this week, Steve,
Yeah.
that early 20-year-olds do not understand 27-year-olds, or like that, like mid, like after 25, when your back starts hurting and like things start aching,
Breaking down.
and like you want to go to bed early, and like 20-year-olds don't understand because they're like, you're still young, but it's like,
Mhm.
no, we're young looking, but we're old in spirit.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Like we're starting to hit those 30s, and it's just depressing, right?
I
Yeah.
don't want to think about it.
It's so like we realized, because we were talking to some like 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, right? And what were we discussing specifically? Do you remember?
Back pain.
I think it was
It was just like everyone who was like above the age of 25 was just really tired.
yeah,
And it was like 10:30.
I
Yeah.
think the moment I turned 25, I started taking naps at like 5:30 every day, and I can't stop. I
Really?
love naps. They're not even naps anymore. They're just like extended sleeps because I nap for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh God.
See, I don't even nap. I'll nap every once in a
Oh, I
while.
love
I
napping.
napped hard in college. Like I mastered the 15-minute nap because
Oh, yeah.
I would like in between classes and practice, I would just go crush a nap
Yeah.
and then just be rejuvenated. I can't do that anymore.
Again, with Justin's influence on me, I never took naps until he told me when we were juniors in high school that he takes naps. And I'm like, oh, well, he does it, so it must be cool.
Yeah.
So then I started doing it, and then I stopped for a little while, and then I started doing it up again, like in my mid-20s, and now I can't stop.
Steve was actually very intimidating to most people he met because up until he met me, he didn't know what blinking was, and I showed him the way.
Yeah. He changed my life.
I don't even want to hear about this.
I don't need to put in lens drops anymore. Or
Yeah.
not eye drops.
Lens crafters. But yeah,
know-
so
you know-
it's like
No, there's a picture you took. I don't know why I thought of this,
You're
but
welcome.
back in high school, there's a picture you took of me
you're welcome.
handing you money, and Steve is just looking at me like he's behind my shoulder.
Was I
just
standing in a
staring-
garbage can?
No, you were, you weren't in a garbage can. You were just staring me in the face, and then like I didn't realize you were there. But like your eyes weren't blinking. Your eyes were just wide open. You're like this.
Yeah, I
don't
didn't teach him
remember
until
this.
then.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, with the age disparity, it's almost like because you got like the generations, quote unquote, but also there's subsets between age groups.
Okay.
Because like it's like the way I'd like to put it is like milestone ages.
Okay.
So like someone in high school is way different than somebody in middle school or elementary school.
Yes.
There may not be that much time between you, but there's a huge difference.
There's-
Even like different every grade of high school
There's-
seems
Yeah,
hugely
freshman
different.
is going to be different than a senior.
Yeah. And then once you get to college, like you're a completely different milestone. So you don't really have much in common with the people below
Okay.
or the people above. Because once you get out of college, it's a different mindset because you just got out of the college. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're
okay. Now I'm
entry-level
like
jobs.
getting into work.
Yeah.
Then after you've been working for a while and the crushing foot of capitalism is just curb stomping you into life, you're still like, oh shit. And then like, yeah, you're in your late 20s. And then it's like, okay, now I need to, and you're like, okay, then the next step is like, oh, you like have a relationship, have kids, possibly, move out of the house, do other things, be like an adult for the most part.
Yeah.
Like really become an adult. We're still in that middle ground of like, I guess we're adults, but like not really.
Yeah, we need to take the proper steps. Like we're steps away from becoming an adult. We're like,
Yeah.
this is the second Pokemon evolution, but we're
Yeah.
like reaching the third.
It's really depressing. So like, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I have a TikTok on our Hot Takes and Beer Breaks TikTok.
That's the most
Plug?
late 27 things you've ever said before.
Sure. But there's this woman that's very popular on TikTok. She's 26, but she's like a mom and she has like kids and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she very much looks like she's 26. Maybe some people think she looks a little older, but I think that's because she has kids. You know what I mean?
Well, do any of us really look our age?
No. But I'm saying like she looks 26. Like if she didn't,
John looks like he's like 23.
I got carded today. We'll talk about it. But like we look like we're still kind of like you look probably like you're in your 20, like 21, 22.
It depends if I shave.
Yeah, you got facial hair.
Yeah.
I feel like me and Steve both look like we're still kind of like just getting out of high school kind of looking. Maybe more so me than you.
Yeah.
Now, Steve looks like he's 25.
Okay, I like
John,
that.
you look in your early 20s.
Yeah,
Aw.
John looks like he's
Yeah.
22, 23.
I don't even look. I feel like I look 18.
With Justin's beard, he does look like he's 20, about to be 28.
Yeah, and then as soon as I shave, I drop like 10 years.
I like
It's
that.
ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
I just feel
The beard adds 10 years.
But yeah, I got carded today at the package store when I bought the beer for Hot Takes and Beer Breaks podcast. Check us out, even though
Oh.
you're listening to us right now.
Listen in.
But I got the beer, and then like when I looked at it, the guy asked for my ID. I gave it to him. I was like, all right, that's fine. I know I look young. And then he was like, "What's your birthday?" And I was like, "Okay." Gave
Yeah.
it to him. He's like, "What's your middle name?" And I was like, "Okay."
I don't think I've ever had to answer that, ever.
I don't
Yeah,
even
it
know
was-
my middle name.
It was really odd. I was getting questioned by a kid that's younger than me. I guarantee it. But he looked older than me, or like his facial structure looked older than me.
Yeah.
But he was definitely younger than me, and I was older than him, but I looked younger than him.
Yeah, his boss probably just like gave him a talking to earlier in the week and was like, "Oh, you got to card everybody. Doesn't matter who."
Fair.
Yeah.
We also had this. I had this revelation this weekend. Speaking of weekend revelations, right? This was a drunk thought, not a drunk sober thought, but a drunk thought. I think we should take the rats from New York City,
Go
right?
on.
Because that's a problem. Get them out of New York City and then just drop them into foreign countries as a form of warfare. Can't trace them.
So imperialist John over here wants to take over the world with rats.
Yeah.
How big are the New York rats?
They get thick.
Really?
They're thick, boy.
Could we like capture one and
I don't
maybe
think we
bring
could
on the
do it.
pod?
No, because then it might try and teach us like the ways of martial arts, and then
Go to an underground sewer and
Yeah.
eat pizza with us on the weekends.
maybe it's not that
Name
bad.
us after Italian artists. Okay.
Yeah. I want to be
The very best.
That no one ever was.
yes.
We went from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Pokemon real quick. I just had that thought. I feel like we should employ that. You know what I mean? Like, why are we dropping bombs in places? Drop rats.
It would cause food scarcity wherever it lands.
There was an abandoned gas station. I think at one point it like closed in like February of a certain year. I think it was like 2017.
Mhm.
And so I used to go on walks and I would always go past this gas station. And one time, this had to be like maybe August or September, I looked in through one of the windows and whatever was in the gas station, because I think the owners just like up and left overnight and like didn't have any warning at all. They just took off.
Makes sense.
Um,
Probably a drug.
There
friend.
was like food ripped out like all over the floor, like all like the Hostess and chips and whatever packaging was there was like torn to shreds, and I saw rats just running around the gas station.
In my head, you said Hostess. I thought it was like a restaurant hostess just dead on the floor. It's like, oh my god.
No, I'm talking about the ring dings and Twinkie people.
Mm.
Or the treats, not people.
So they were just going to town.
Yeah, no. And I always wondered, like, if they had stayed in there and continued eating whatever was in that gas station, I wonder how big they could get.
They get huge. Like, if you just walk around New York at night,
Ugh.
they're massive.
They get like this big, like pretty
Yeah.
big.
John, tell our listeners how big that is.
That big.
Damn. That's big.
They got it. It's an audio medium.
Yes.
But Justin, you got buying things that are white.
Oh, yeah. So I had a quick thought that buying things that are white, as in like clothing, is like people in politics.
Explain.
They easily become dirty.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that.
That's. I like how you
Nice
said.
quick little thought.
Yeah,
I like how you set up this whole drunk, sober thought to just bring up that.
Yep, that's all I had.
I agree. But, I'll say this. I have another drunk, sober thought. I think they should recast Black Panther. 100%.
Ooh, hot take.
What makes you think that?
So, a lot of people are up in arms. They believe that Chadwick Boseman is the most iconic Black Panther, which I 100% agree. If you haven't seen Marvel's What If, he plays his last performance in that series. We have to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
Whenever you get done watching it, Justin.
Yes.
Anyway, it's really good. And Chadwick Boseman is an incredibly talented actor. But I think for that fact, that's why you recast him. Because he's not just Black Panther. He's, Jackie Robinson. He's also, he played...
I'll let you do it.
There's a bunch of other people he played.
No. Who else did he play?
Who's the singer from, who shows up in Rocky?
He feels good.
Martin Lawrence.
Rocky 4.
Oh.
He feels good.
I can't think of
Yeah,
it.
you can.
I'm
Brown?
blanking on the name right.
Oh, no. Something
Close.
Brown.
Close. Jimmy.
Jimmy Brown?
No, what's the not nickname version of Jimmy?
James
Brown.
James Brown.
Yeah,
Martin
so
Lawrence.
Plays James Brown. He's in a bunch of movies, and Chadwick Boseman is a very iconic actor. And I think just kind of like taking that mantle and going, we're going to recast it to another. Like, I know it's a heavy task for that next actor to take that on, but you got to continue that character on. I don't think Black Panther is done in the MCU.
No, they only did one movie, right?
Yeah.
And there is another movie coming out, so...
What, did he do any scenes for that movie, or did they...
I doubt
Did
it.
he die long before they even started shooting?
Yeah, because I think the last thing he officially did was the What If, and that's
Yeah,
just
What If.
voiceovers.
And I think Marvel was planning on replacing him with his younger sister, but I think that's because they knew what was going on with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
but
they knew he
I think
was
they
sick.
planned on having him for the second one.
So does that... So I've never seen Black Panther. Do they
I
kind
saw
of...
it 4 times in theater.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
really
Is that
good.
the most times...
Well, that's because I had Movie Pass, and I could.
Oh, I respect it. You were cheating the system. Not even cheating it. You were using the
I was using what it said. But no, it was a pretty good movie.
I've never seen it once. Does the ending of the movie make him the protagonist, or does it also bring up his younger sister, whoever you're saying?
Zuri?
Shiri.
Yeah, she's very influential in it.
Okay.
But, like, it ended on he's still the king of Wakanda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It ended with him, and also he showed up in the last Infinity War and
I
Endgame.
remember seeing him.
It kind of seemed like Black Panther was going to be the leader of the Avengers, but now with Chadwick Boseman out, I don't know how you can do that. It seemed like him and Doctor Strange were going to be...
Now, the
I wonder-
question...
Oh, we'll keep going.
The question becomes, how do you recast him? Do you just take another actor and put him into the MCU, just keeping the timeline go? So as is...
They never address it. They never say, like, oh...
Yeah.
They did it with Don Cheadle.
What's his name? King T'Challa or King...
King T'Challa, yeah.
Are they going to be like, oh, he died of whatever cancer? Well, no, I guess they can't do that.
They reconstructed a dude's spine with that of the vibranium. Like, I don't think cancer would be a problem for the Wakanda.
I just hope they don't do the... Disney doesn't do the Carrie Fisher approach and just, like, use her face in 2 other movies that she didn't really shoot.
Yeah.
There's speculation. The idea is that because Namor is showing up in the second one... If for any comic nerds that know what that
Marvel's Aquaman.
He's Marvel's Aquaman. He's gonna be showing up in Black Panther 2. He's an adversary of King T'Challa. Usually they're at odds because Atlantis and Wakanda are going at it.
Atlantis and Morissette.
The speculation is that like they perform a terrorist attack on Wakanda,
Yeah.
blow up, and Black Panther dies, and it starts with like a funeral or
That's
something.
boring. Like
I think you should carry on Black Panther. Black Panther's a really great character. I have no
who
problem.
would you cast? As?
I have no. Don't ask me that question. I am not good at casting.
Steve, do you know who you?
I know.
Who?
Martin Lawrence.
Please do explain the plot of the Martin Lawrence Black Panther.
So
2.
he's playing football in the 90s, and he breaks a dude's thigh, and he's like, where do I go from here? Stan Lee comes from the rafters, and he's like, hey, you want to make $10 million talking for approximately 80 minutes? And he's like, sure. And then he becomes an iconic character, beloved by millions.
All right,
Inspiration
so
is
you heard
children
it here first.
all
Martin
around the
Lawrence for
world.
Black Panther 2 as King T'Challa.
All right. Well, I know what needs to happen for Black Panther then.
What's that?
So we're dealing with a lot of multiverse stuff, correct?
Yeah.
What if you get 6-time NBA champion
Kobe Bryant.
Michael Jordan to play the part of T'Challa?
No. Why?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Why are you picking so many?
Sorry.
LeBron James.
I forgot one key letter in this situation to change it up.
Michael B.
You have
Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, because you don't need to recap. You don't need to just make him there. You can have that this multiverse madness causes Chadwick Boseman to basically just become Michael B. Jordan,
and then Chadwick Boseman becomes
Killmonger.
Well,
No,
random thought. So I've never seen Black Panther, as I just told you guys a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
Do you think they recorded lines specifically for this scenario? Like they
No.
knew he
Yeah.
was gonna die, and so they're like, all right, well let's record a couple scenes for
Granted,
the
they
next movie.
did know he had cancer back then,
no,
which is wild because he did every Black Panther shit was with like
Chemo.
stage 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a legend.
I feel like Disney kind of prepped for this. It wasn't like a Carrie Fisher where just she died out of nowhere. Like I think they knew, all right, yeah, this guy's gonna kick the bucket.
I think
soon.
they thought they had one more movie with him.
Maybe.
And they were preparing for him to record that last movie and then pass the mantle on, and they kind of got like
Yeah. Oh, and then the pandemic happened too.
yeah. So
I think they could do something with Michael B. Jordan
it would be interesting. I don't
because
disagree.
I hate the fact that he's dead now in the MCU.
he could come back.
So you're telling me they're not going to use Martin Lawrence or Kobe Bryant?
No, they are.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear.
Martin Lawrence and Kobe Bryant.
But it's going to be Martin Lawrence playing Kobe Bryant.
Martin Lawrence.
Actually, no, he'll just wear a jersey for no reason.
Oh my god.
Lawrence Taylor, Martin Lawrence, Kobe Bryant. I could just imagine the poster
Lawrence
being
Fishburne.
across. He'll be in there too.
Yeah.
I could see that poster being in college dorms across the country.
Lawrence Fishburne was in Black Panther 1.
He was?
Yeah, he died.
Well, they'll bring him
What?
back.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Who killed him?
Oh, am I
Morpheus was in Black Panther 1, John?
No, I fucked it up. Never
John,
mind.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of
Do they all look the same to you, John?
Oh, you're thinking...
you son of a bitch. It was, you know,
Oh,
who I'm
you're
thinking,
thinking...
know who I'm thinking
crap.
of.
I can't remember his name. He was in...
Robin Big.
What? No.
Oh.
No, he was in Star Wars...
Star Wars.
Oh,
Rogue
Finn?
One.
John Boyega?
No, I'm thinking of. John Boyega might not be a bad choice actually to play T'Challa.
Billy D. Williams? I'm thinking of black characters from Star Wars.
No, it was in Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Oh, the
He's the...
Brazilian.
it's
guy?
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking Forrest Whitaker.
I was about to say that, like, I don't know that.
It's sad that I was like, oh, the guy with the eye, and that made me remember his name.
Yeah. That's not a great look for me on this podcast, but I'm gonna put
Sorry,
it out. It's
Forrest.
fine. Yeah. Well, thinking of let's switch over to gears. Let's get into the news of the week.
Switch over to Gears.
Switch over to gears. I'm gonna stay on with that
Gears of
statement.
War.
So
Critically acclaimed Xbox.
let's
game.
start with. Do you guys know sports? You don't.
Sport?
Doesn't matter. Do you know who Jon Gruden is? Very famous head coach of the.
Obviously, Steve knows all of the sport.
Very.
I know of Jon Gruden. He's the current coach of the Raiders. Why is he not? Tell me more.
So Jon Gruden has just recently stepped down as the coach of the
I woke up today and I said, I love Jon Gruden, the current coach of the Raiders. I hope nothing bad ever happens to him. He's a great guy that motivates me every day.
Steve wrote me a letter and sent it through the United
I want to
States Postal
apologize
Service.
to any listener that just said their eardrums destroyed by Steve.
Oh, man.
Just like this man's
What did
career.
my favorite coach in the history of the NFL do?
Well, Jon Gruden going back to 2011, and I imagine much more before. From 2011 to 2018, there was emails back and forth between him and this Washington executive, Washington football team.
George Washington.
It was George Washington.
It was George Washington.
Obama.
He was emailing back and forth with an executive at the Washington football team, and he was basically saying a lot of misogynistic, very homophobic and racist stuff to a lot of to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he got found out because they're investigating with the Washington football team for inappropriate behavior with their women. I believe we've talked about this on the podcast before, a few months back.
Yes.
Check out one of the earlier episodes. I don't
All
know
of
which one. And Jon Gruden's emails got leaked. They found out. They basically were like, Raiders, what are you going to do about this? And they were waiting to see if they were going to do anything. And then just as the NFL was about to come down with strict punishments, Jon Gruden steps down.
He Nixoned it.
So Jon Gruden's out.
I can't believe it.
It's
Yeah, Steve, I'm more upset for you. Like, I feel bad.
I had a poster of him in my room. There's going to be posters across every college dorm in the United States. Jon Gruden.
Jon Gruden.
And formerly, they used to be the Oakland Raiders, and they just became the Las Vegas,
Correct.
I believe.
You are a diehard Jon Gruden fan here.
Dude,
This calls into question Steve's belief system here.
Who doesn't?
I love
The man
Jon
didn't
Gruden.
know about this.
I just learned about it approximately 4 minutes ago.
Just now. But it's kind of interesting because, like, so actually I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and Pat McAfee asked Aaron Rodgers about this, and Aaron Rodgers was
You're like, hey, why don't you have more championships?
well, Aaron Rodgers, he answered basically saying, like, I feel good that knowing that, like, teammates don't feel like this. Like, the players across the league don't feel like this, and hopefully, like, more executives get kicked out of the league, and I know there's plenty of executives that don't feel this way, and I feel really good that locker rooms aren't like this, and it's good that these people are getting gotten out, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that too. I like seeing justice brought to the assholes of the world.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, truth is always going to kind of come out, I guess. So,
no,
yeah.
you got to show that there's consequences for this shit.
yeah, he said some...
No, and he's been getting away with it for so long.
Yeah, you said 2011 there's evidence of, which
And
means
yeah,
that it didn't happen for way longer than that.
Like, I keep going back to, like, the argument about, like, oh, if you've ever been in a Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby, like, you've said way worse than that. But you also have to think, like, that was a different time, and we were also really young. This guy's a grown-ass man, and he's using this kind of language.
Exactly. And
Like, in no way was anything that we were saying in Call of Duty all right, but, like... we were also, like, 12 and 13 years old. Like, I don't know.
Also, this goes from 2011 to 2018.
Yeah, and so it's been an ongoing thing.
Exactly. So it's no learned change behavior.
Would you have any sympathy for him if it was just
on
like,
a Call of Duty chat?
Well, maybe that, or if it was just like a couple emails in 2011 and then he like changed his ways.
So that's actually really interesting because a friend asked me about this last night, and he was.
You have friends?
Yeah, I know. Shocking.
shit.
What the fuck? I'm learning so
he was
much
like,
today.
"Hey, did you hear about Jon Gruden?" I was like, "No, I didn't. Tell me more." He was like, "Oh, in 2011, the emails got leaked." I was like, "Oh, that." Well, 2011's a long time ago. I'm sure you changed. You're not going to have the same views. But then when I found out it's 2011 to 2018, and there's a lot there. Like I just thought, I just had heard it was like one or two emails. Like Steve had just.
Well, plus it's one of those things where like once you get into your like late 20s,
you know what's right.
Your
and wrong.
your ideals are like kind of set in stone.
I'll disagree with that. I think
for the most part,
I
but like the way you are, if you're going to act like that, you're going to keep acting like that.
Have you ever read Facebook or like Twitter posts that you shared in like, I don't know, when you were like 14 years old? 15?
I deleted my Twitter.
Smart.
I deleted my Twitter.
Twitter's also deleted.
Yeah.
Well, I restarted it.
Gold.
Like I did a new one, but yeah, I couldn't even imagine what my tweets were back then. Like back then, you had to say edgy shit to try and get noticed, and
You didn't, Steve. What were my tweets like?
I don't know. Currently watching
Edgy.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, damn, I'm so
Maybe,
edgy.
like, hashtag Walking Dead. Hashtag Talking Dead.
Damn.
Did you ever even watch that show, or did I just make that up?
No, we did.
Okay, good.
That's fair.
It was a staple
Well,
and an Office Max.
speaking of back in 2011, did you guys watch like That 70s Show? Like back in high school a lot?
No.
Like reruns?
I started watching it when Netflix was like the cool new thing, and I remember I watched the first couple seasons, and I liked it, but I never finished it.
Oh, really? See, I love that 70s show. It used to be my favorite TV show, actually, of all time. I watched it all the time.
What was that look, Justin?
I didn't fart.
Oh, I thought you were looking at me because you were judging his favorite show.
Justin just pooped his pants like I did at Mystic Aquarium.
Tune in next week.
So yeah, I actually really love that 70s show. It used to be one of my favorite.
You liked it a lot? Now you love it?
Whatever I said.
Alright,
I'm drinking a beer. Don't worry about it.
Hot take.
Anyway, that 70s show is getting a spin-off called That's 90s Show, which I'm interested to see what they're going to do because...
What network is picking it up?
I actually didn't look it up. I just saw that it was getting a spin-off. But I'm interested to see if it's going to be connected to That 70s Show.
Is it all the same cast? Because didn't one of them get kind of canceled?
Yeah, Hyde from That 70s Show. He was...
Oh, yeah.
He was messaging... He was the curly-haired guy.
Sure.
With the glasses?
With the glasses.
Oh, no.
He had the aviator... He was the cool guy.
Guy.
There was like Kelso, who was Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Here's Eric Foreman, who played Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Of course. Legendary.
There was Laura Pepperin, who was the redhead.
Foreman's dad.
And Mila
Wait, Laura Pepperin was Foreman's dad and the redhead?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Mila Kunis, who doesn't shower.
Yep.
yeah,
she
Mila
doesn't shower.
Kunis, no shower. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe they'll play it off like Hyde died. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they could do, what Roseanne did is they were just like, yeah, Roseanne had a heart attack and died.
It was from an Ambien. Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like they could.
It's almost funny when they do stuff like that, where they're like, oh, yeah, Roseanne's dead. Like, I was hoping with Full House, they're like, yeah, Aunt Becky, like, overdosed on... Never mind.
What did they say? Like,
I watched the pilot of Fuller House and then never anything after
Never
that.
came back to
because
it.
it would be so funny if they were like, "Oh
Aunt
yeah,
Becky
she's
got hit
in
by
jail."
a bus. She's in jail for trying to get her daughter into a college that she shouldn't have been accepted into.
It's like, damn.
They just like totally break the fourth wall and stare at the screen.
It's like, wait, I thought you guys had twins. It's like, don't think about it.
They linked at the camera, right? They were at New York City or something.
yeah, they did that with Mary-Kate and Ashley, where they're like, oh yeah, they're off in New York being fashion moguls or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
Because that's what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was...
They're
man,
successful in other fields.
That'd be a callback to the pilot episode where they could be like, yeah, Aunt Becky's currently serving like 3 months in jail.
So, this week, huge things released in entertainment news. Not just That 90s Show, but also Dave Chappelle releases special. So Dave Chappelle releases special, and a lot of people, it made the headlines.
It did.
He
No
always
doubt.
finds a way to make the headlines.
He did
that
make the
day.
headlines.
David, he's that new up and comer.
A lot of people are calling it a 40-minute rant on
Hour and
transgen-
12-minute rant.
Yeah, but basically saying he's very transphobic and
Uh-huh.
all these other things.
Now, to preface this, I have not seen it.
Yeah.
John, have you?
I have.
Steve?
I just listened to it today.
Okay.
I actually listened to it twice.
Wow, hot take.
My take from it, I don't think it's transphobic. Now, not being transgender,
had no
not
idea.
being someone that identifies with that community, it's tough for me to say. I'll be fair with that. Like, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. But as a person who was just listening to this piece of art, I felt like it was
Hitler made art too, just to point out.
shut up. He was coming at it in a way that I feel like he was
He
not...
prefaced it very... Yeah, he did a good job making sure, like, okay, guys, I'm not transphobic, but...
Well, he did...
Well, no, yeah.
Wait, hold on. That's not the excuse. Some
No,
people
no,
are
no.
like, I'm not racist, but.
No, he didn't do it like that. I poorly
you
summarized
gotta
what
watch the
happened.
special. I think
You just gotta watch it.
before anyone like listens to reviews or listens to anything, definitely go watch the special. I think it was really good.
So, yeah, me coming from the Twitter world without watching it, I thought, like, oh, this guy said awful stuff. He was just making fun of, like, Caitlyn Jenner and transgender people. And when I listened to it, he did all of those things, but it... I don't know. You just got to watch it.
He did it in a way that I feel like was very
It's
respectful.
a playful, like, yeah, he acknowledged what they're going through, and he was able to make fun of it in a way that didn't seem like he was punching down.
Let's just say this. I think Dave Chappelle is the greatest storyteller of all time. Or greatest philosopher. Might be one of the greatest philosophers of modern time.
What
Because
do you consider modern time?
like
Homer.
2020, like 20s.
Oh, okay.
So
Maybe.
I think Dave Chappelle, because he's viewing the world in the way that he he's saying things that I think need to be said.
Hmm.
And he's not necessarily right, but I'm saying it needs to be said in case it's wrong, so that way people can correct it.
Now,
I think the point that he made about Caitlyn Jenner was kind of spot on.
now
He kind of was.
what
yeah.
I would like to bring up is people on the right wing of the political view. Would they say similar things, but because Dave Chappelle has the clout of this, it would be completely different? It's completely different.
Like they'd be liking him for all the wrong reasons.
Well,
basically.
not even that. It's like if somebody who leaned right wing said the same exact things, would it be viewed differently?
No, they couldn't say the same exact things because the points that he makes
Mhm.
seems like he's genuinely concerned about what they're going through.
Dave Chappelle also comes from a place of love. I feel like it was.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of teared up the first time I watched this.
Mhm.
He has a
Dork.
very heart. Okay. So he has a very heartwarming story in this special.
About Daphne?
Yes,
Yeah, no, that was heavy.
it was really tough.
Spoilers.
Really tough to listen to. And Dave Chappelle has a friend. Just to spoil this special go listen to it. It's very funny. It's not
Here,
funny.
we'll pause
It's eye-opening.
for
It's good.
the entire hour and 12 minutes. All right, ready? Quiet.
Okay, so Dave Chappelle has this friend named Daphne Dorman, who is a transgender female. Who
She's not a doorman.
no,
Might have been at some point, but
maybe.
not right now.
By the way, I want to reiterate: Dave Chappelle is respecting everyone's pronouns in this entire special, regardless
Mhm.
of what he feels on transgender. Right? He's respecting everyone's pronouns.
It's the easiest fucking thing. It's like calling somebody's name correctly.
No. The way he does it is
But I'm saying for like people who are against it. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
the
it's not-
least amount of respect you can give to somebody, giving them the official title that they wish.
But after one of Dave Chappelle's Netflix specials comes out,
Mhm.
and it basically, a lot of transgender people took it out of context
Mhm.
and basically called Dave Chappelle a transphobe again, because this isn't the first time Dave Chappelle's been called a transphobe for a very long time, apparently. Daphne goes on to defend him. And after a few days of being on Twitter and defending Dave Chappelle,
Mhm.
Daphne commits suicide. Now, is it because of the Twitter trolling? I don't know. He doesn't know.
Sure, it didn't help.
He claims he's not sure if it helped.
Wait,
But
hold on. He talked about this in the special?
yeah, he does it a really great.
Wait, so
You gotta watch it.
well, I'm a little confused.
So
with
he's
the
talking
timeline.
about a stand-up performance that he did like years prior,
Mhm.
and Daphne opened for him. And then after that special aired or whatever that show aired, the footage came out, and everyone was calling Dave transphobic, and Daphne was backing him on Twitter. I'm assuming, I don't know when this was. I'm assuming this was maybe, I don't know, let's say 2015. So this was all
2015.
happening back then, and she was backing him, and they were calling her a bunch of names, and then she just offed herself. I think she jumped off a building or a bridge or something.
Yeah, I think the way she articulated it was Dave's not punching down because Dave doesn't view transgender as less than him.
Mhm.
He's just making jokes. You know what I mean? Like, he's a comedian. If you want to be part of this community and be inclusive, you have to accept that you're going to get made fun of. You know what I mean? He makes fun of white people. He makes fun of black people. He makes fun of everyone.
Mhm. He made fun of Steve once.
And I do think there is, what this special seemed to kind of signify is there's these transgender people that feel like they're above it all a little bit. Is like,
I think it's mostly Twitter. Like, I think
yeah,
Twitter could be very, very toxic depending on like what you read on there. And I think Twitter, it's just, I don't know, it's not what it was
as
years
much,
ago.
As much as the right harps on the social justice warrior,
Mm.
there is an extreme, like
There are extremes to both sides.
Yeah, there's extreme
like
rights and there's
the extremes like trans feminist. He goes into that. They're just annoying. They suck.
And I think that's what Dave was trying to get across is this transgender community, you're not powerless anymore. Your voice is when
I mean,
you...
it is a very small community, and they
Yeah,
do have less power.
But
than a lot
like
of
he's
people,
talking about the idea that like Kevin Hart almost got canceled, you know? And certain people, like when you speak, your words carry more weight than a black man. He talked about how it's easier for Caitlyn Jenner to transition to a woman and get Woman of the Year than it is for Cassius Clay to change his name. You know, certain things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful comedy sketch. And at the end, just to ruin it, he says, I'm not making any more jokes at your expense anymore. I'm not joking until we all can recognize that we're laughing together. And I think that's what Dave's trying to get across. Is
Wait, so did he make jokes?
he made jokes.
Yeah, it's Dave
But then
Chappelle.
at the end, he's like, this is it.
Well, it was
This
his last
until-
Netflix special until he signs another expensive deal.
Exactly. And I think what the point of it was, at least the point I got was, I'm trying to do this not because I look at you guys as like the transgender community or the LGBTQ community as less than me or something to be made fun of, but I view them as equals.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make fun of them because I view them
everybody gets shit.
and the fact that you're not laughing with me means that I have to stop this because you need to reevaluate yourself. And I do think that's true. I do think the LGBTQ plus community does need to take a second and go, are we doing things that are toxic?
Mm-hmm.
This is just...
I don't even think it's a community as a whole. I just think it's a subgroup within the community that's just made a bad name for themselves.
I mean, it's like that with every bad group of people.
It's like gun people. I'm sure most gun people are fine, but there are the gun people that are on Facebook that can't shut up.
Yeah.
It's like,
look, I like guns too, but yeah, you shouldn't be that easy to get one.
yeah.
I thought it was a really impactful special.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the message behind it. That's not to say that everything you said was great. You know what I mean? Like, there are going to be
Yeah,
things...
there's things that he was a little too edgy on, but he has to do that.
But he's
It
just,
reminds me of I haven't seen it yet, but it reminds me of like what South Park does. This is why South Park will never get canceled, because their whole thing is we have no boundaries. We will make fun of everyone.
Yeah, everybody gets shit.
Exactly, and I think that's what Dave Chappelle was kind of hitting on.
Except George Clooney, he won't get made fun of.
Why not?
So George Clooney was the voice of one of the dogs in South Park for a long amount of time because he thought that would prevent him from getting shit on.
Yeah.
And I think they did eventually shit on him, but I just
I like
wanted to
that.
drop that Easter egg in
I
there.
didn't know that.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, I think Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest comedians of all time, and it was incredible to see. It's a great special. It's not necessarily the funniest special, but it is very deep thinking. You know,
he's doing a Carlin.
It's art. It's how you view it, but I think you should view it with an open mind.
Yeah.
As cisgendered white males.
It's worth an hour and 12 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And also,
I don't use Netflix ever, so this was my first time opening it up in months.
oh, nice.
There is so much good stuff on there.
Yeah, where have you been? Watch Kim's Convenience.
Watch
check it
Squid
out.
Game.
But no, with this, it's even if you don't agree with it, it sparks conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's in a capacity where it's not aggressive. It's not like
Malicious.
yeah, it's not malicious. Oh, I mean, I haven't heard it, but it's like it's not like you're in this Facebook group which is talking shit about people without the opposition to be able to talk to it. No, this is open to everyone, free conversation about it.
I felt like it was things that were moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dave is just saying things that need to be said, whether they're right or wrong. He could be 100% wrong.
Could be.
But it needs to be said just to think about. You know what I mean? Go, is this the path forward? And if it is, we're good. If we need to deviate, we need to deviate. You know what I mean? Like, I think we just have to come to an understanding.
I haven't seen the thing, and I probably will agree with you. But also, you got to remember, some of the people who, with opinions you don't agree with, are saying the same type of thing.
Yeah, but like, this is the thing: is like being.
So I'm just asking questions, John. It's like, oh, why is this happening? Why all of a sudden does Big Pharma want us to all get these vaccines?
Okay.
Hey, I'm just pointing things out. Like, well, this is me actually talking. Like, this is the type of thing. Like, yeah, it might seem edgy, but also from a different point of view. It depends on what you believe and how critically you want to look at everything. That's why everybody has to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. Not necessarily do your own research, quote unquote.
I know. You're starting to sound like Debbie on Facebook.
I knew it. But no, like, look into things.
Yeah.
Ask questions. That's the point.
I think conversation is important, and I think this Netflix special is
Conversations with people with differing opinions.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
Because if you just talk to a bunch of yes men,
I mean, that's
nothing
what
gets solved.
Twitter has become. It's a bunch of people that don't hear opposing views, and whenever they do, they just like shoot it down and then go back to whatever they were doing.
you got to cancel them because it's different than what I
Yeah,
think.
they don't agree with what I agree with, so therefore,
And that's on both sides.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not on both sides.
This Mr.
Martin
Potato
Lawrence.
Head? Yeah, Martin Lawrence is not on both sides. So let's take a beer break and talk about the beer that I brought, Mr. Potato Dead, a double
Oh, I didn't even see
Indian
that.
Pale Ale. I just read that just now. And so it's a zombie Mr. Potato Head on the can.
Oh, shout out to my last year's Halloween costume.
Really? Is this exactly what you got?
Well, not Mr. Potato Dead, but Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I got it for you.
I had Velcro like headpieces on my chest,
Nice.
so I was able to move them around like a real potato
Oh,
head.
that's genius.
Yeah.
This is pretty 7.9%.
And my lady was
tipsy.
Mrs. Potato Head.
What's the brewery? Who we got? Brewed and packaged by Abomination Brewing Company.
Ooh,
I
fitting.
love their font. It's very like.
Yeah, it's pretty
Gruesome.
good.
Wait,
right?
hold on. Is this the Evil Dead font?
I don't think so.
This font of the Mr. Potato Dead is definitely something.
What do you guys got for how
Friday
many?
the 13th. It looks like almost.
Out of 10 beer breaks, how many beer breaks?
How
would you
many?
give
How
this
many?
beer?
Spud Dead Redemptions.
Sure, out of 10.
I give it a solid 4.5.
4.5. That's pretty low.
I thought it
but
was
alright.
decent.
Okay.
It's an IPA. I don't usually go.
Steve, what do you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.2.
Damn.
4.2.
Let me guess. You're going for a 9.2.
No, I'm actually gonna go with 6.1.
Damn.
I think it's a nice sipping beer, but it's very
Yeah,
strong.
the more I drink it, the more I like it. But yeah, when I first started drinking it at the beginning of this episode, I was not a fan.
I did get through it fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm also
almost done.
really hungry
Yeah, I gotta go home and eat food
for
too.
these hot takes.
What are you gonna have for dinner?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or both of you.
Probably like hamburger, hot dog,
Nice.
like an American.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what, Steve? I'm thinking about this podcast, how you're gonna join it full time.
Allegedly.
I love that you're gonna be trying different beers and experimenting because you're not a big beer drinker, like you said.
You're a light beer boy.
I just like Coors Light. Maybe you'll change my ways.
He's like, I just want to go back.
You probably like sours. When we whip out the sours, it gets good.
I'm excited for that.
Do you like juice?
I almost
No,
got.
not really.
Oh,
I almost got
what
the-
are
I
you?
haven't been drinking a lot of juice lately.
Well,
For the past like year.
you know what you have been drinking? Mr. Potato
Head,
Head.
brewed and packaged by Abomination Brewery Company.
Oh, it's a 7.9% by vol.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but you didn't say like by vol.
I didn't say it like that.
Yeah. There's also
Well-
been a fly in here for the entire time.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I've
I've
been
been trying
smacking-
to kill it. I've
Yeah.
been trying to murder this fly for the past hour and
Trying to make a
however many
potato
minutes.
dead.
Well, you know what else is trying to get murdered?
Martin Lawrence, the player that got his leg broke by Martin Lawrence.
Yep. Thiber.
Justin Thyberg.
He's still
Yeah.
calling Lawrence Taylor Martin Lawrence. Anyway, so we have the Zodiac Killer identity possibly being revealed
What?
last week.
It's
But-
Leonardo DiCapricorn.
It's Ted Cruz's dad.
You know who
I
I'm going
knew
to
it.
say it is, so I'm just not even going to
Who?
say it.
Say it.
No, he's keep it quiet.
Oh, okay.
So an independent group called the Case Breakers said they identified the killer using new physical and forensic evidence.
Did you hear what the evidence was?
No, I'm just reading off what the article
Oh,
said.
well, I'll tell you what the evidence was, apparently.
Oh,
the case
really?
breakers don't
Yeah.
sound very
Is it-
reputable.
is it
Yeah,
seem-
keep going. Read
is this-
your things.
the case
I will
breakers-
just shut you
Hold
down.
on, here.
boy.
I'm just gonna make a point right here. The case breakers sound like a group of like women in their mid 60s that have nothing better to do on Facebook.
Are you saying the Case Breakers, the women in their mid-60s, can't solve the crimes?
maybe?
Oh, I turned it back around on you, Steve. Are you saying women can't solve crimes?
It's just a corny name. Like if they had a cool name like LAPD or something, I'd believe it a little more.
If it was LAPD, they'd have a lot more problematic things that they've done.
Why is the LAPD the cute, cool name?
Because it's official. The code breakers, whatever the hell.
What
their
about
name-
Codebreaker PD?
No, because that just sounds like a TV show that air on True TV.
It did, actually.
Really?
No!
Oh.
Tune in next summer.
So the team says they reached their conclusion in part based on photos of the suspect showing scars on the forehead that match police sketches and the Zodiac talking to those who know that him. And they also said the suspect name could be found in anagrams sent by the Zodiac. So they also link him to a brutal killing before. And the police and FBI came out and they were like, this is not official. This is just what they were saying, right?
Yes.
What did you have
So
to say?
they kind of rushed through this, like, reveal.
Yeah.
And
Is it to cover up the story that we have coming up later?
The forehead thing literally looks like wrinkles if you, like, lift your head up or lift your eyebrows up.
Do you want to know a fun fact about the Zodiac Killer?
No, next topic. Oh, sorry, continue.
He got away because of racism.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many people in this country got away from racism? The Raiders quarterback, Steve. You remember that?
Martin Lawrence.
So there was a call that went out to like the police department, right? And they were like, "We're looking for a suspect of this description, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But the police interpreted it as we're looking for a black man. And there was just a white guy that walked past him and said, "Hello, like officers." It was the Zodiac Killer.
Are you surprised at all?
No,
living in
of
this
course
country?
not. Come on. But like the police officers just let him go. So like, we're looking for a black man, you know, like.
Yeah.
So racism allowed the Zodiac Killer to go free, and
Not surprised.
I don't know if this is necessarily true, but it's interesting that this story broke because it dominated the headlines and covered up the story that we're going to talk about now, which is that the French Catholic Church.
But did it really dominate the headlines?
It blocked out the sun.
I guess it was hot for like 2 or 3 days, but that's all they really needed.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing nowadays. You only need to take
the
the
attention
headlines
span. Yeah,
for like if you're multiple days, you've hit some crazy news.
yeah. I agree.
Which this story probably should have dominated, which is a report from France on Tuesday revealed that the French clergy in Roman Catholic Church have been sexually abusing 200,000 children since 1950, and 80% of them were boys.
Ah,
Oof.
Catholics?
Catholic Church, yes.
What? I'm
In-
so surprised.
In France.
So I might be able to understand why this didn't dominate the headlines. Like, okay, what else is new?
Yeah,
That's my take on it.
Fair
It's
point
like,
there.
it is kind of like,
It's like, ooh,
we knew this.
Okay.
I do feel really bad for the people that came forward. You know what I mean? Like, it is kind of sad.
No, yeah.
They're gonna remember this until they die. Like it's messed up.
And like it's got to be hard to come forward against your church and kind of be like,
especially like if you're truly, well, not truly, but like fully ingrained into your church.
do you
and
think
like,
there's something weird about like, because the Catholic Church is like priests can't have sex or whatever, right?
Well, yeah, it's like when you tell like we had this masturbation or the soaking. Did we talk about soaking?
I don't know.
But basically, whenever you repress sexual needs or something,
Yeah, it comes
it's
up.
like you take you if you like this is out of the question, they find other ways. Sex is a thing. Like sex is you got to get your
Something
rocks
that
off.
needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
primal needs.
Like if you touch your peen a bunch of times, then the things feel good.
You
Or
go
if
blind.
It's like if you don't take a shit, you'll end up shitting your pants inside of the friggin' aquarium.
yeah,
Mystic aquarium, more
I was like,
specifically.
if you don't,
yeah, or you gotta dodge
I
a
didn't
large
shit
lady.
my pants. My Spider-Man
you
underwear
shit
was
your-
a casualty.
You shit your Tobey Maguire underwear. I'm sorry.
Or you gotta dodge a big lady, and then like
The polka flute's got to come out to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
past him. Yeah. Yeah, like this story probably should have dominated headlines because it was breaking news, but it was kind of weird that all of a sudden the Zodiac Killer news took over. I think, Steve, you said that like it's interesting because the Zodiac Killer, like everyone cares about serial killers.
Yeah, I think that's he's like he's on the Mount Rushmore of like serial killers for sure.
Sure.
He's the George Washington on that.
The other one's
Yeah.
Justin.
He's the Martin Lawrence of serial killers.
Yeah, it goes Martin Lawrence,
Not
Jon
yet.
Gruden, Zodiac Killer, and the woman that was blocking the friggin' path in Mystic Aquarium. those are the 4 horsemen serial killers.
Yeah. But no, to your point, saying it's like, yeah, what else is new? That's probably
Like,
also
no, yeah,
why.
we all knew this. It's not like without naming names, this did happen in our own hometown with a priest in the 80s. Like it's not anything new. Like it's like a common trope within the Catholic Church. It's like, oh, every hometown, maybe even there's 2 to
like hearing
3.
something-
There might be even 2 for every hometown where there's a priest that was diddling kids back in the day.
I'm so glad it's coming out though, and I don't think these stories are less impactful because I think it changes something.
Mhm.
You know, even though we know it's true, because we knew it was true before it kind of got like hit,
Yeah.
and it was like, this is actually 100% true. It was like a rumor,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden, I think it was the Boston Herald released
Yep.
the story, and they were like, boom, this is out, and everyone was like, oh
Did
shit,
they release
it's real.
the names of every priest?
Yeah, I think so.
I like when they do that.
They
Good.
did that, and now it's just kind of coming, and it's like, we got to figure this shit out. Like, we got to realize that the church, something's got to change. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying.
Well, when it's so systematic like that,
I think give it another 200 years and there won't really be a church anymore.
probably not. But
Ooh, interesting.
Like think about like the 90s. Like everybody, I feel like a lot of people went to church, and now in 2021, like I think I could count on one hand how many people I know.
Do you
that
think
still
it's because
attend.
of stories like this coming out and people going like, the
Yeah,
hypocrisy
probably
of this?
that probably
Yeah.
plays into it a little
We're
bit.
talking a lot about religion.
also at the same time,
Yeah.
I feel like people are more open to different types of religion acceptance. It's like, oh, like yeah, I may believe in God, but also I don't need to go to church every week to do it. It's like I can just
I don't need to prove anybody wrong. Like, I could believe in him myself.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, I believe in God, like, to put my religious views out there.
I believe in you too, son.
I believe in a higher power, but I don't necessarily believe in the system that is the church. You know what I mean? Like, there is something that just feels wrong about it. So for me, I just like, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? Like, I want to pray. Like, I want to feel good. Like, I want to pray. Like, I want to.
I've always wanted to feel good.
Sure. But I don't want to go to church to do that because it just feels weird. You know,
the organization of it is toxic.
Maybe,
but like, I get the idea of like the community and shit like that. Like,
although I will.
No, yeah, it brings people together.
So there's like a thing going on nowadays where I forget where the fuck I heard this, but like the theory that because religion is kind of like subsiding and like fading away.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fading away, but it's less popular, like organized religion.
It's not the cool thing anymore.
So a lot of people are investing their time into like politics. So they're the new religion.
I've heard that.
I never thought of that before.
Yeah, because think about how like entrenched people are with their sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is not something to do because you should not deify political views.
I don't disagree with you.
Or people because they pass.
I don't disagree with you. But like just to kind of like bring it all the way around. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Go.
But I've been feeling like a real sense of like maybe I should go to church more often because there was a roommate I had in college who was very religious. And he wasn't one of those like annoying religious like, oh, you got to believe in Jesus or you're going to. But he was just like, I went to church and I started feeling better about myself. Like he was an alcoholic, I guess, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
it helps people in different ways. It works.
So
the sense of community.
There has been a sense of like maybe I should go to church and feel my void with something. So if
you fill your void with Jesus Christ,
if you feel something with it, good for you. Like I'm not demonizing anyone that goes to church, but it is.
Yeah, I feel like there is like a negative connotation with it, but I also think like I don't know, it's cool. It's like an escape for 1 hour every Sunday or Saturday whenever you decide to go. It's almost like if I went and did a podcast with two idiots every Tuesday night. Like it's just cool to do it. Like I don't know.
I like when we both raised our hand, and our listeners are never going to be able to see that.
I threw up the peace sign.
Nice. I raised my hand all the way and was like, "Yep, idiot right here."
That's his eye.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other final thoughts you want to share this week? Do you have any other stories you want to tell? Mystic Aquarium adventures you want to talk about?
No, but tune in next week. Maybe I'll talk about my shit story.
Yeah, just
it's the shit trilogy. Poopology.
Just before. Just before Jason comes back, he's going to be like, why is there so much shit talk going on?
Diarrhyology. No, I should have just ended it.
Defecation domination.
The defecation of the hot takes.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. Definitely check us out on social media. We got TikTok, blown up on TikTok.
You're blown
80
up.
views.
Ooh.
Make it 81,
it's more than 79.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you everyone for listening. Subscribe, check us out. Bye. Thanks for drinking with us. Find us at Hot Takes and Beer Breaks on social media and wherever you get your podcasts. Cheers.
Adios.
Bye.